a derelict, derelict. All my friends, they wish me dead, they wish me dead. Never change, yeah, I swear to it. And of all the times I've been down and out, this time was different, I welcomed it. Every day that I fail to quit, I wind up here in the state I'm in. The heavyweight, cause it's bound to break, I need a break, the skin I'm in. Tip of my tongue tastes like battery acid. Try to push forward, I cannot push past it. Feel the blood on my tongue, it tastes metallic. Another day passes, I don't break the habit. I've got the doom and gloom swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss or feel so typical. I've got the doom and gloom swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss or feel so typical. So typical. I've got the doom and gloom swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss or feel so typical. I've got the doom and gloom swallowing me, falling into everything that I do. Everything I kiss or feel so typical. There's been plenty of moments that I fell in hard times. More often than not, getting faded was my lifeline. I realized that I've always struggled with change, but sometimes you gotta rearrange before you go insane. I've been doing my best to stay true to myself, put my next foot forward and smoking dope for my health. I never give up the music till I'm rolling in wealth. Some days I swear this bass is my own personal hell. Well, I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you. I confess I'm obsessed with the sex. Heart palpitations every time that she texts. I admit that we ain't always been the best for each other, but what is love without the little test? Girl, you know you're my sneaky link. When I'm with you, my ego shrink. I'm just craving time for us alone. I think about you every time I'm home smoking dope. I love the sound of the city. Goddamn, I love the sound of the city. Yeah, yeah. I'm wide awake when you're with me. I feel better when you got my back, yeah. Red eyes, I'm sky high. I think this might be the best night that I've ever had, that I've ever spent with you.
What's up, everybody, and happy Wednesday. Nice to see a little decent crowd here. We had some nice movement over the weekend. Gonna cover everything, give you my stance on macro market, and I'm gonna throw in kind of a new chart for the next couple weeks. For those of you that know what the VIX is, be taking a look at that. I'm identifying kind of key indications with that indicator as well. But real quick, what's up, Durek, Todd, CSE? What's up, Dorian? Hope you guys are all doing well. It's been a boring last 6-ish months. Really nothing has, I mean, I know we've had some price fluctuation, but nothing exciting's really happened. I have a hard time calling this a bull market. I mean, I don't even call it a bull market until we break all-time highs, remain above all-time highs, at least for crypto. Stocks, yes, stocks have been in a bull market for a little while. But let's get into this analysis while you guys are here. First things first, guys, we had a major, wouldn't say market crash, but we had a substantial drawdown in price Sunday. I believe Sunday morning, or no, sorry, Sunday afternoon into Monday morning. A lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty. You can look at all of the technicals on TradingView. All say sell. They all say fear. Mind you, one of my biggest things that I've been telling all of the people that show up for the private analysis every day or watch it is think objectively and don't attribute news to anything right now. I know that everyone is a macro market genius and they think that recession's coming and they think that, market-wide crash is coming, so on and so forth. I'm going to give you some information, and I want you to look at this objectively, right? Because as much as we want to attribute news-based events to say, hey, we're about to have a recession, I want to remind you that the banks, there were several banks last year that went under or had fears or saw major pressure, and we did have a market downturn for a couple weeks. We had, I think Bitcoin dropped from 30K all the way down to, sorry, this was the bank stuff. Dropped from 25 all the way back down to 19.4. About a 20% drop, 25% drop. And even with that one event, we still almost punched through all-time highs, right? So this idea that one macro event or one thing going wrong is going to cause a recession, I'm not of that mindset. And frankly, we've had dozens of catalysts where everybody says we're about to have a recession, but it doesn't actually happen. I want to remind you guys that there's $6 trillion of sideline capital, right, ready to be deployed at any moment, and frankly is being deployed. So, I know some of you marry this idea of recession and nothing makes sense, but I want you to look at things objectively today, or at least for today's analysis. Saw the fight live. How did you see Poe on the low? Oh, that's Poe. Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, speaking of, I did have a jiu-jitsu match on Sunday in front of a big crowd on the main stage, and ended up winning by submission. I can see if I can pull up the last 15 seconds. I don't think I can pull up the full 5 minutes, so maybe at the end of this live stream I'll pull it up. You guys can take a look at it, or maybe we'll pull it up Friday or next week if I can pull up the full video. I just have to figure out how to get the full 5 minutes. I'll probably do that. I'll get the full 5 minutes and then we'll watch it, because the last 15 seconds don't show everything. What's up, Eunice? So, okay, S&P, big drop. But I want to remind you that we have had a record-breaking move. Absolute full send to the S&P 500. Guys, in the last 2 years since we bottomed, the S&P is up almost 64%. Mind you, the average year gain across 100 years for the S&P has been 8 to 12% per year. This is substantial. Right? This doesn't normally happen. I know COVID, we had the COVID move, and then we went down, and now we've had this massive move since. Guys, this is a big correction that needed to happen. Similar to something like this, similar to something like this. All it is a market correction. Mind you, I know a lot of people attribute news to, selling events or events that cause price to go down. We had bearish price action between these two highs, right? And now we have bullish price action between these two lows, right? So our bearish divergence. Sorry, we had bearish divergence between both highs, causing this downward move. Now we have bullish divergence if this weekly closes green, right? There is no reason anyone should be freaking out right now. We haven't even put in we haven't put in a lower low in the last 2 years, right? If anything, I'd like to see a range, but now we're creating bullish divergence to continue higher. What's up, Cole? How's it going, man? Nice to see you here. And it's just kind of mind-boggling that everyone will look at one event or one indicator and attribute to, oh my goodness, a recession's coming, right? You're now seeing indications that continuation is going to happen. So again, think objectively. Ignore all of the bullshit on Twitter and YouTube, please. Think objectively. Macro is still very, very bullish. S&P showing bullish divergences here. I'm expecting this to continue much higher. And speaking of, and I'm going to get to the VIX next, the dollar is still showing macro bullish confluence with a double top, breakdown, retest, continuation. Yes, this week has recovered some, but mind you, our 4-hour was majorly oversold. We're now seeing what looks like a dead cat bounce. This should continue lower, right? Nothing here says reversal. I'd open up the daily, but it's more or less the same, right? Just a bounce so far. Now you have two pieces of confluence that point towards the macro market continuing higher, right? There's no reason to freak out. So this is the chart I wanted to talk the most about today, the VIX. And I'm going to do this. And I guess I'll leave RSI for now, but I'll move this higher. Okay. We'll make RSI lower. I just don't want to delete RSI because I've done it like 10 times this week and I'm kind of sick of it. So what are we looking at? What's important about this? So I've brought up the VIX before in the past, really in regards to determining market bottoms, or at least when are we approaching a bottom? When are we approaching like a major correction? When is a major recession bound to occur? Or, when is recession close to over? So the VIX for the last 25 years, every time we break this 38 to 40 level, it marks at or near a market bottom, right? Stretching back all the way to 98, right? Break 40, bam, market bottom, and we continued up from there 63%. Yes, did we go lower in the future? Yes, but we're not talking 10 years out, right? We're talking about the next 2 to 3 years. Fast forward 2002, right? Break 40. Yes, initially, that was not the bottom. We ended up dropping another 5%, eventually bottomed, and then continued upwards 106%. 2008, yes, the first time we broke, we were actually here, and I think we dropped another 15%, another almost 30%. I need to zoom in on this so we can get accurate data. So the first time we break, right about here, we dropped down another 20%. So yes, 2008 had a monstrous financial event, which is really the cause for such a large drawdown. But look, most of the downward move was over by that point. We had minus 43% before, really triggering the VIX here. So again, yes, you could argue it doesn't point towards the bottom, but it points close enough where, hey, this is a good chance to buy, right? If you bought anywhere down here, yes, you had a 20%, downward move from there, but you're not going to nail the bottom. You're not going to hit the bottom to the right to the dollar every single time. It's just to give you a clue of, hey, we're likely getting close to a bottoming structure, and this is a good opportunity or an indication for a good opportunity to buy. The good old VIX, it's been a while, yeah. What's up, Bleeding Crypto? Thanks for your input. I appreciate it. Hope all is well. I hope all is well with you as well. I've had a hell of a month last month. I was actually training like 2 to 3 times a day for this BJJ match I had on Sunday. Ended up winning. So that was, fruits of your labor. Really glad that played out. Next live stream, probably on Monday, because I don't know if I'll be busy Friday, guys. We're kind of wrapping up summer. There's nice weather still, so I'm trying to be outside as much as I can. But on Monday, I'll see if I can get that full video, and we'll play it. At some point, we'll play it. I posted like a 15-second clip of the end of the fight anyways. But fast forward. Break the 40 area again. Even with a small wick, ended up being at or close to a bottom. And what is this, 2010? And we move up another 34%. 2015, or no, this is 2012. 2012, we break it. Actually ended up being the bottom. Continued much higher from there, 93% until 2015. 2015, we break it. Yes, you could argue, eventually forming a lower low, but right after we top on the VIX, move up another 11%. Yes, you could make this argument that it's not always a bottoming signal. Nothing's ever perfect, but it's fairly close. And even so, we moved down a total of 3% in this entire range, followed by, what looks like a 54% move higher. Moving on to 2018, yes, you could argue it wasn't quite the bottom when we topped. We ended up moving down another 1.6% into a 13% move higher, right? And what is this? This is 2019, 2018. So for the rest of 2018, we pumped another 13%. Again, guys, we're really only focused on the next 2 to 3 years after the VIX tops. Again, I am of the assumption that crypto will get a bull run. It has not gotten a bull run yet. And, you're talking a year out, 2 years out. So we're only really concerned about the short term. Moving on, COVID 2020. COVID was obviously a little bit different of an event, kind of like 2008. You get a massive catalyst, massive black swan. But look, the VIX breaks 40. And I guess we did drop another 23%. So pretty rough. But either way, pretty close and following forth. Even if you started dollar cost averaging here, you would have gotten, a 13, 14% discount into bottom to top, 107% gain. Now, fast forward to 2024, we top again, right? Everyone freaking out. Everyone's saying that we're going to war, that Japan, their economy is going to crash, that Kamala Harris or the next president there's going to be a massive recession, whatever it might be. But we're already getting data from the VIX amongst all of the other bullish confluence that a market bottom is at or near. We are either at a market bottom or very close to a market bottom, considering the fact that the S&P has bullish divergences now, that it was in a record-breaking upward move, and all this is a correction to continue higher, right? The whole goal of this live stream today, and you guys know I do this all the time, but the macros, everyone thinks the macro changed in the matter of a week. No, you're actually getting more continuation signs. And yes, we corrected, but it was just a correction. There's no reason to be freaking out about what happened on Sunday and Monday at all. So adding that to the list of reasons to stay macro bullish, we have the S&P forming bullish divergences, just seeing a correction. The VIX providing information that we've likely bottomed or are near a bottom. And the dollar again showing us a bearish reversal that should continue into the 101s. All leading to macro market bullish confluence, right? That's 3 signs. Let's keep moving. So total, and I'm actually going to get rid of this. Now you have the total charts. And you have, unfortunately this morning we actually did have bullish divergence. Let me make sure. Total 3 does. So total 3 has bullish divergence if we close the weekly like this. Now again, it's only Wednesday, a lot can change. Friday, or actually Sunday is close. So can't make these assumptions yet. but we are at least attempting to make a bullish divergence, right? Total One had one this morning. Unfortunately, Bitcoin dumped a little bit, so we're not quite there yet. Again, we got to wait for close. We're very close to forming another divergence. Let's move into Tether dominance. Tether dominance. Now, I will argue, again, this morning, this entire candle was a wick. We have corrected a little bit, right? We bounced from 48 to 57K. Pretty substantial bounce. But that doesn't mean we're going to close the weekly like this. Again, stocks, the VIX, the dollar are all leaning macro bullish. Crypto, not necessarily too much yet. Again, I don't think that liquidity has shifted from equities into Bitcoin yet. The ETF is helping, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Honestly, I used what was left of my cute little salary to buy on the crash. That's solid. What price did you get in at? If you don't mind me asking. I hope you somehow got into the 40s. That would have been really cool. I mean, even if it got lower 50s, that's still really solid. So unfortunately, Tether dominance, we're not getting the best. This morning it was a lot better, right? We had the full wick. Now it's recovered a little bit again. That's because Bitcoin's dropped some. So we'll have to see the end of the week if we get bearish divergences. Again, we had them this morning. So I'm going to move on. Talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, again, this morning also had bullish divergences. I actually tweeted them last night. It depends where we close this week, right? If we close in this support, we have bullish divergences, right? You have lower lows, equal, or slightly higher lows. Again, I'm going off the assumption that we close within support. It hasn't happened yet. Look, if the rest of the week, if we dump, then these divergences don't exist. So don't take what I'm saying and make a stupid decision. We need to wait for the weekly close. That's how this works. Try moving the mic through. Hopefully that's better. I really need to just buy a new mic. I'm being so lazy about it. The problem is it works so well when it works, but when it's not working, it's the biggest piece of shit. But Bitcoin Weekly, not looking bad. Reclaimed our diagonal kind of trend. We're still just bouncing around. And objectively looking at this without indicators, without anything. Again, I want to remind you that we are in a massive uptrend, and this is really the first major correction we've had in the last year and a half. Let me know if that's a little better, Colin. If it's not, I can fix it again. I'm going to wait a second before I continue. Around mid 50K. That's not bad. All right, let's look at the daily. I think we have a good idea of the macro and my thoughts, guys. Ultimately, I'm macro bullish. I mean, it would take a substantial crash and really stocks changing, the dollar gaining more strength. I mean, I just don't see it yet. I don't see how we're going to enter some kind of market-wide crash given all of the confluence between other charts, right? I know that when there's a drop, all of these bearish posts gain so much traction, and you hear about all these random indicators and all these people trying to basically sell you something that isn't necessarily true because they just want your engagement. Just can't keep up when you're too close. Yeah, that's my fault. I just need to buy a new mic. I'm being lazy about it. But back to the daily. I'll be honest, in terms of a trade, I don't see one at the moment. I hate to provide two different options and say, oh, it might do this and it might do that, but that's kind of where I'm at. Right? At the moment and as it stands, there are no reversal signs. So I'm saying we go lower. There's no bullish divergence on the daily. We don't have bullish divergence on the weekly yet until we close. Yes, we're a bit oversold, but that doesn't Can I move? There it is. But that doesn't mean that much yet. I mean, we can remain oversold for a very, very long time. Just like we can remain overbought for a very long time. We've seen it before in the past. I don't know why it does that. Every time my laptop upstairs is on, just TradingView gives me the most issues. Right, on the daily, guys, I don't really see any reason to take a long. Yes, you could argue we're attempting a reclaim here, but other than that, it just looks like we're moving sideways for lower at the moment. That doesn't mean they can't change, but at the moment, that's what it looks like. We don't have divergences. We don't have price action to base off yet. Let's look at the 4 hour. So the 4 hour, and this is kind of my assumption. I made this post earlier today. So we do something like this, either come down here or come back to here, right? I'd like to see some kind of range form. I'd like to see divergences form. And matter of fact, I'd like to see a reversal pattern form before I long. We're still not at that point. I also called out, we had bearish price action on the way up. Getting this drop, we're probably going to see volume continue to go lower as we retest 60K as resistance. If we can stay between the 60 and 55K support area and bounce around here and kind of get some kind of range here, awesome. You can look for longs, but it's still too early. And how do you know if it's too early? Open up your daily, open up Bollinger Bands, and see how spread apart everything is. Right? There's no volatility. We need volatility if we're going to make a decisive move. I believe these bands are 25% apart from each other. Right? Almost 25% apart. So a little early. Probably going to get a range. I don't think we're just going to V-shape and continue upwards. I don't think that's what's going to happen at all. Let's see, what else? Trying to make sure these Twitter comments are working. Still not. We check Link. I'm going to be honest, I don't really... We can look at Link for a minute, but again, I don't think checking altcoins is really worth it given Bitcoin dominance. But we'll get to Bitcoin dominance in a moment. Let's look at the 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, I really don't see anything tradable yet. I mean, if anything, we were right dump, slight divergence, bounce back, attempting to reclaim here, but there's not much to work with. It's still a little too early. It's only been 2 days since we dumped, right? Guys, reversals take sometimes weeks, sometimes a month to form, right? I don't want to take trades that are, especially when a lot of these moves are based off fundamentals. Like if something comes out in the news and it causes price to do something, I can't trade that. I can't guess at the next news-based event that's going to cause price to move. But I can use indicators, right? I can find invalidation points. I can find reasons to take a trade in a chart. I can't trade based off of news. Link is not back to the old range. Just real quick, it's actually bounced from prior resistance, flipping it into support at the moment. Pretty substantial drop from Link too. I mean, a lot of alts got killed. Was down almost 70% again. Mind you, this happened plenty of times in the last bull run. And there's another 63% down before continuing higher. Bitcoin drops to 52 next week. What would it look like to take a long? I have a full list of indications that I need to see to take a long, and I don't see any of them. Just because we dropped to 52 doesn't mean to take a long. All right, let's look at Bitcoin dominance. So as it stands, Bitcoin dominance is rejecting the 58, well, really 57 to 58 resistance. I'd like to see this head lower if we do. Alts will do well. I mean, unfortunately, Ethereum looks like absolute trash. But Total 3, mind you, Total 3 has bullish divergences on its weekly. So we might see a little altcoin move. Again, that entirely depends on, is Bitcoin dominance actually rejecting this, and are we going to move lower? Right? Because at the moment it's not, I mean, it's a rejection, but it's not like we can't just keep climbing and reject a little bit higher. What about ETH? 2100 possible? Yeah, I actually think ETH could visit 2000 again. Just looks like crap. I mean, on the daily, you do have bearish divergences here, so this could play out in a 56% retest. Look, the first goal is getting to 56, and if we can break through 56, sorry, these are drawings from this morning. That, so we do have bearish divergences, likely to get back to 56. If we drop below 56, excellent. Then we need to lose 54. Right, 56 is the first step. If we lose 54, alts should do well. Again, I don't think it's alt season. I think alts will just finally do something because they haven't done anything in the last 2 years. Bitcoin's been outperforming everything for the last 2 to 3 years. All right, what would your indicators need to look like, such as the RSI? I mean, I for me to explain it to you, it'd take me hours. I mean, I need to see bullish divergences. I need a reversal pattern. I need bullish price action. I need to see multiple time frame confluence. I need to see other chart confluence with Tether. I mean, it's not a simple like yes or no answer. I need to see a lot to take a long. I don't just blindly take longs because we hit support. I take longs when there is a long setup. I actually teach my trading system. And kind of good that you brought this up. I am teaching that system again in September. It's about a 5-month course. Again, teaches my trading system, teaches what I look for, teaches my risk metrics. And that's, again, another big reason for me taking a trade. I'm not just going to blindly throw into a trade. I need an invalidation point. I need to understand what my risk percentage is, what my win to loss is. Like, right? I'm not just going to long because I feel like longing. Let's take a look at ETH, and then I'm going to wrap things up, guys. I think we get a good gist of what I'm looking at. And then I'm going to provide a couple of updates, so don't head out too quickly yet. So, ETH. Like, I'll be real. Like, I think ETH's going back to 2100, possibly 2K. I'm going to put a... I mean, it just looks like trash. It's not bouncing that well. Other alts are doing good. Like AI is bouncing nicely. Like AI coins are bouncing. But it does look like at this moment we're closing back below support. We're likely going to revisit 2100, especially if Bitcoin revisits like 50K. On the weekly, there's no divergences. There's nothing that really suggests strength here. Yeah, Jason, I'd love to explain more. I'd love to be more of assistance, but it's not like a simple. It's not as simple as you think. Like, just because we touch support doesn't mean you should take a long. Like, there are other indications, and look, everyone's trading system is different. Maybe we go to support and price bounces and continues from there, right? And we go up from there, and my trading system didn't detect that, but someone else's did. So, if you're, I don't know what your experience with trading is, but I've always learned that sticking to my own system is more consistent and I make more money that way. Because if I'm using someone else's system to trade, well, one, I don't know their invalidation. I don't know their risk. I don't know what their signals are to sell either, right? I don't know what weakness looks like. I don't even know what time frames they're trading. So again, it's not as simple as if we touch this area, what are you looking for? I mean, I'm looking for a lot. There's no way the Monday low doesn't get taken out. Seeing this game too long. Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page, Colin. I originally said we're probably going back to 50K. Right? The daily doesn't have any reversal signals. The 4-hour doesn't have any reversal signals. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight, but over the next week or so, yeah, I think 50. I don't know if we'll go into the 40s again. I don't know if we'll fill this wick completely, but I do think it's likely that we revisit 50K again. Last but not least, Ethereum to Bitcoin, guys, this just looks like absolute trash. Like, there's no other way to say it. Just absolutely underperforming, complete trash. Doesn't mean I'm selling my Ethereum. Look, Ethereum is still 2.3K a coin. It's pretty remarkable. Just means that Ethereum's not doing that well. And I want to give you this information. Ethereum is actually outperforming all of their cycles to date. At this point, when Bitcoin broke all-time highs, Ethereum was still sitting 60 to 70% below all-time highs. Right? If you go to Ethereum, open up a weekly. Bitcoin broke highs in December of 2020. Early December. Right here where the circle is. Bam. I mean, from the low point, 63%. From the high point, 57% below all-time highs. Now, I will say now, things aren't necessarily that great because we're 57% below all-time highs. But at one point, we were outperforming the prior cycle. And what is it? August of 2024 and August of 2020. August of 2020, we were still down 70%. So technically, we are still outperforming. I mean, look, timing-wise, nothing should be moving that significantly at the moment. We're still in the summer. It's still a slow period. I think a lot of people are expecting alt season to happen relatively quickly, and it's not going to until more money piles into Bitcoin, until we get that liquidity shift. So I'm going to end it there, but I'm going to end with a couple of announcements. So the trading bot, and for those of you that are unfamiliar, pull this up. Trading bot, still kicking ass. Okay. Still kicking ass. It's been nothing but green all year. Currently up 3% this month. Ended up 14% last month. Been kicking ass, right? You can see all of and by the way, this website is in my Discord. You can view it if you'd like to track the bot progress and profitability. So I know we had a week where this was up for you guys. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues, so I delayed the drop once again. This should be ready by next week. We're in testing right now. I'm testing it with my account and a couple other accounts to make sure that everything's flowing nicely, that everything is following the bot's risk management. And again, this is based on 1x leverage, right? If you want to take on more risk or free up more capital, you can use leverage. But again, the bot uses 1x leverage. So that should be ready within the next week. More to come on that. And then my second announcement. I think that's it, actually. Just wanted to talk about the bot. Oh, my second announcement's with the bot. So it will be on Blowfin first. We're going to also add it back to Coincatch. Do not make a Blowfin account yet. I'm working on getting 25% off fees for you guys for at least 3 months, and then probably 15% for the rest of your trading account livelihood on Blowfin. So don't make an account yet. I'll get you guys a link soon. We're just making sure everything's good to go, and testing all around to make sure everything's good. That way, there's no technical issues moving forward. With all that said, guys, thank you for being here. I know it's been a crazy week. Monday was wild. I apologize for not live streaming. I had family and friends in town, so I was spending time with them. With all that said, guys, please be patient,